Now it's time to go back down memory lane. Who remembers the styrofoam containers that they had? This was before the paper or the wrappers that they had for the burgers and sandwiches now. We didn't have a lot of choices for suckers back then, but everybody remembers having a blue or red charm sucker. And before all of these different drink mixes that we have out, all we really had was Tang. It was just really orange Tang. Then they came with grape. We didn't have many choices then. And Lord, remember these first cordless phones? Oh my gosh, it looked like we were actually putting a brick up to our face. The station wagon. Now, my mother and father actually didn't have a station wagon, but my aunt and uncle did. And I remember having some good times in the back of a station wagon on our way to church. And one of the greatest movies of all times, Jaws. I don't remember a whole lot of movies from my childhood, but I remember Jaws. Now, as for daytime TV, when I finished with The Young and the Restless with my mother, I remember as a young child looking at Sesame Street. It was just like the number one TV show for children back then. And The Little Professor Calculator. I don't know why every year I got a new one of these. What happened to my calculators every year? And here's one of the cameras for the 70s. It was so funny. If you needed a flash, you would have to connect this flash on top of the camera to be able to get light for your picture. Now, did you guys have this phone directory sitting by the phone in your house? Instead of having a telephone book, we had this phone directory. Now, here, one of the irons from back in the day. I promise you, this iron felt like it weighed about 20 pounds. These things were so heavy. And here was that 1970 pattern. Almost every high chair, playpen, or stroller had this same pattern. And for sure, I don't remember a time in my mother's kitchen that we did not have a casserole dish that looked just like this. What about you guys? I'll say when I was anywhere between 9 and 12 years old, this was the perfume. I don't remember what it smelled like, but I remember having to have this bottle of perfume at all times. And here was that Polaroid camera. We graduated from that other camera I just showed you to the Polaroid that will slide those pictures right out right now. And every family with a school age child had to have a set of encyclopedias in that house. It was rule. Okay, take a look at this jewelry. It was blue. It had like a silver kind of tarnished type metal around it. All I remember is when I was really younger, my mom always had a drawer full of this jewelry. Let me know in the comments if the women in your family or your mom, grandmother had this jewelry. I really got to go back and ask my mom what was so special about this jewelry. And let's not forget about this gold ring that almost every teenage girl had in her birthstone. I remember having one of these when I was about 12 years old with my purple amethyst birthstone in it. And don't tell me that your medicine cabinet did not look just like this. And I remember one of my favorite TV shows was Mad TV. Does anybody else remember that? Now, what I can say, I don't remember much about it, but I remember always watching it. My grandchildren will never know what it was to go to the library, check out a book, sign it out, and have it stamped to let you know what day it needed to be returned to the library. And here were the bank books that we kept to balance our bank accounts. There were none of those apps that did it all for us back then. We had to write out every transaction. And whatever happened to the prizes in the cereal boxes, y'all? Like, they need to bring some of the good stuff back. I remember dumping out that entire box of cereal just to find that prize. Now, I'm not sure, but do they still have the little riddles on the popsicle sticks that you found after you finished eating the popsicle? And if you guys had a pair of these, just simply tell me in the chat, yes, I had a pair of those skates. And then let me know if you had the tube socks with it. And here's one of those early computers. All I gotta say is thicker than a Snicker. And here's one of the old time swings that had the little crossbar for the toddler swings. All I have to say is that you did not want to smash your finger in between that crossbar and the swing. I just love going down memory lane.